Broadcasting live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Here's your host, Andrew Romanella.
Okay? Like, just get the hell out of here. Nobody cares what you think if you're not a Mets fan.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Thursday. How we doing? Welcome into another edition of The Rome Show, broadcasting live on youtube.com/The Romanellas, Twitter, X, Instagram, and Facebook. So many ways to get the show. Welcome in. I'm your host, Andrew Romanella. We got a fantastic November 13th show set up for the people. We took a hiatus on Hump Day yesterday to get our minds right for Thursday and Friday. So we are back and we are better than ever. We'll go through our 5 top headlines for the people, including ESPN releasing their top 5 candidates for the Heisman Trophy. Surprise! They're all quarterbacks -1. I know, that's wild, right? The quarterback never wins the Heisman Trophy. We got some MLB awards that were announced over the last 3 days. Rookie of the Years, Cy Young Award winners, and Managers of the Year. But we're arguably the most excited for our guy, Rocky Romanella, to join the show.
I want to start hearing that it's important that a team is practicing their defensive 2-minute drill, because no one in the NFL can stop anyone with like, if you have over a minute left, you're kicking a field goal every time.
And that, unfortunately, might be the reason, Rocky, that Brian Daboll is no longer the head ball coach of the New York Football Giants. We'll get his opinion on that as well. So much to do, so little time we have, so let's get right into it. Before we do it, though, we remind you, youtube.com/The Romanellas, youtube.com/The Romanellas, The Rome Show 1. That's The Rome Show, then the number 1 on Twitter, X, Instagram, and then the OG social media site. Yeah, you know what it is. It's facebook.com. Play the music. Let's play the headlines. All right, your first headline of the day, ladies and gentlemen, is something that we've seen coming for roughly 7 to 8 months now. The Dallas Mavericks have fired general manager Nico Harrison. Now, we all believe that Nico should have been fired the minute he sent Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers last year for Anthony Davis and 2 first-round picks, after the Dallas Mavericks had just made a run to the NBA Finals. A letter written by Mavs owner Patrick Dumont essentially said, "This is not acceptable. We are a better franchise than this. We are fans. We hear you." And what's gone on is, since Luka's been traded, there have been fire Nico chants, fire Nico signs, to the point where last night Jason Kidd came out in his presser and he's like, "Listen, guys, we understand that you don't like this guy, but we don't need to keep chanting fire Nico. He's been fired." Okay. Here's the letter. Going to be maybe a little tough to read on your screen, but a few things in there is him stating, "We hear you, fans." And I think that is super important. This letter can be found on our Twitter, The Rome Show 1, if you would like to read it. Secondly, on your headlines today on The Rome Show, Travis Hunter, two-way star out of Colorado University, now a Jacksonville Jaguar, has undergone season-ending surgery, and that's the last you will see of the two-way football star. Speaking of Heisman trophies that don't go to quarterbacks, Travis Hunter did just that last year. It really begs the question, can you two-way in the National Football League? I mean, heck, a guy like Shohei Ohtani is two-waying in Major League Baseball, and still that has become very difficult, and that's not even the high-impact sport that football is. Travis Hunter hasn't had an insanely good year, but there's something there that has helped the Jags. They've lost 2 straight, and I wonder if they are missing a weapon that they had planned on having. So Travis Hunter out the remainder of the season. If you placed a wager futures-wise on him being Rookie of the Year, I'm sorry, you lost that wager. Third, how about this? So we've been talking a little bit, and you've heard, at least I think you've heard, the stories about the guys from the Cleveland Guardians throwing pitches so that they can make some hundreds of thousands of dollars for them and them boys. Okay? So Major League Baseball, which kind of has a problem here since 1818 when Shoeless Joe Jackson and the Black Sox decided that we were going to go ahead and throw the World Series so we can make a lot of money. Baseball's always had a problem. Sports in general probably always had a problem. It is exemplified now, amplified now, because we have social media, because gambling is legal. We can monitor this stuff now. So what does Major League Baseball do? Because we've had a scandal in NBA. We've had scandals in the NFL now. We've had scandals in the MLB. And all we're really doing here is uncovering things that have gone people have gotten away for a long time. Now that it's legal, it's monitored. So Major League Baseball says, okay, you want to throw pitching props? Well, now you can only bet up to $200 on any singular pitch prop when gambling on Major League Baseball. And furthermore, you cannot parlay that singular pitch prop. So to finish, if Rocky Romanella, I believe, is throwing fastballs at 92.5 miles per hour, and I want to take a bet on the fact that this next pitch is going to be under 92.5 miles per hour, I can only bet that up to $200, and I can't parlay that with Rocky Romanella under 92.5 on the fastball and Andrew Romanella to walk in this at bat. That's not it. So that is going to be the response now, I think, from these gambling sites and from these professional leagues. What don't we want you doing with some of this? Because it's going to exist. It's going to exist. It's over. Cat's out of the bag. So what do you do to possibly stop it? Finally, the Heisman top 5 candidates were released at the quarter point of the season. And I got to be honest with you, I'm not surprised at all. Outside of one name, and the reason why we're even having this conversation right now is because of that one name. Here's your top 4, and the 5th one's the one we care about. Julian Sayin, quarterback, Ohio State. Fernando Mendoza, quarterback, Indiana. Ty Sampson, quarterback, Alabama. Jeremiah Love, running back, Notre Dame. And then this guy right here, one of our people, one of those guys, Joe Fagnano, the 100% Italian quarterback from UConn, has done something that no one's done since Joe Burrow in 2019, having 300-plus pass yards and 3 TDs in 5 consecutive games with 0 interceptions. This guy is top 5 in almost every quarterback category in FBS right now. They have the number 1 wide receiver in the country who is the leading candidate for the Bolitnikoff Award and is possibly going to be the 6th Triple Crown winner in NCAA Division I football history. You heard what I said there. That's the UConn quarterback. Shout out to one of our people, Joe Fagnano, and the UConn Huskies, who are dancing this year. They're bowl eligible, baby. And it wasn't that long ago that this team was and the century. Those are your top 5 Heisman candidates, and those are your top headlines to start the day here on a Thursday. What we're going to do is we're going to take a commercial break, and then we are bringing in the one, the only. That's actually a lie, because there are multiple Rocky Romanellas that come on this show. So he's really not the one and the only, but he is the one and the only for us every week in his weekly spot. So we take a commercial break. We come back. Rocky talks to us about some MLB awards and hockey. Oh, and the Giants. Ooh, maybe some NASCAR. Just so much to do. Don't miss it. Stay with us. Rome Show back after this.
What is one thing every great leader has in common? They challenge their people to not stop at the first right answer, Tighten the Lug Nuts is a leadership book that will teach you how to move past the first right answer with entertaining and detailed examples founded in real-world concepts and experiences. Accelerate towards your professional goals with Tighten the Lug Nuts, one of the best leadership books available.
Yeah, it's the Rome Show with two Romanellas, and we are fired up about it. We got Rocky Romanella on the airwaves, and we are getting ourselves ready for what is our favorite segment, and that is Hockey
Inside the Glass.
with Rocky.
Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's put the biscuit in the basket this morning. How we doing?
We are doing fantastic. How are you doing today?
We're doing great. We're excited. It's Thursday. Had men's league last night with the Gordie Howe hat trick, which was nice.
Oh, that's
Boys
exciting.
got a big W.
Wow.
And now we're here. We're gonna talk some hockey.
And I got to
Maybe
imagine
some-
you felt really good after the Rangers scored 7 and beat the Tampa Bay Lightning last night as well.
Listen, I'm loving what the Rangers are doing, right? We just won 2 in a row. Weird, right after we brought up Gabe Perreault and put him on the first line with Zibanejad and JT Miller. And 4 games after Artemi Panarin shaved his head completely,
Yeah, that's
where
wild.
he had gone on a 6-game no-point streak, and now he's just dominating the point sheet. Alexi Lafreniere, 3 goals in his last 4 games. Vincent Trocheck is back, 2 goals last night. I mean, you got to be excited about the Rangers.
Very exciting. And I got to be honest with you, okay? Because the Panarin thing, I did not realize was a play on something he's done earlier in his career. There was a season when he was bald and he had like 120 points or something crazy like that.
The year that Trocheck, Lafreniere, and Panarin played together the first time, he came into that season with a bald head, and that's the season they were like one of the best lines in the NHL.
God, athletes are so stupid sometimes. Like it's
I think Mika needed to cut his hair for a long time.
I mean, think about the conversation we just had. And the best part about it is it was a legitimate question in a presser. Like, yo, what are you doing here? And he's like, I got to change something, man. And it worked once before and it's working again.
I'm pretty sure he joked in one of those pressers that he was thinking about changing, like shooting righty instead of lefty or lefty instead of righty.
I think that is so good. All right, well, let's stay on the topic. We got plenty of time to get to the MLB end of the season awards. And I'd love to get your opinion on Scooble, Paul Skeens, and the bunch. But it's been a minute since we've had you here to talk about hockey. And in the 2 weeks that we've missed you, I think a lot has happened. One team we just talked about, obviously the Rangers, which I know you'll get deeper into. But one of the major teams that I feel like it's been different since you last got on here was the Boston Bruins. I mean, they've been playing some unbelievable hockey. So like you normally do, why don't you give the people your thoughts on where the NHL's at right now, and we'll pick it apart from there.
The parity in the Eastern Conference and in most of the Western Conference, but really from top to bottom, Eastern Conference is fascinating. 2 weeks ago, right, the Boston Bruins were in last place. They've won 7 in a row, and now they're sitting in second place, and they're only one of like 7 teams with over 10 wins on the season. The Sabres, well, we knew what they were going to do.
Right.
But the Leafs, like you've got the Leafs. We thought the Panthers were hanging on. I came on the show 2 weeks in a row talking about how I'm excited about the Wings. They're not there. We did a rock solid, rock soft on the Lightning, right? They went on a nice run. But
Yep.
you know what? The Rangers played the Lightning last week or last night. And the thing I didn't realize about the Lightning was how battered they are from an injury standpoint.
Yeah.
No
Oh, yeah.
Ryan McDonough, no Victor Hedman. They lost Brandon Hagel to a concussion last night. So, so the Lightning are still fine. And no Brady Kachuk. And the Ottawa Senators have seemed to have found themselves in a good spot. So they're really building off what they built last year. So and I actually haven't watched the Bruins too much. I love the Canadians.
I have
But
watched the Canadians like 5 times somehow this year, and they're awesome.
I mean, listen, you gotta love Martin St. Louis, but Cole Caulfield, Lane Hudson, I just love the players.
My only
So,
concern with that Canadians team, Rocky, is do they have enough good defense slash goaltending to be good long term?
oh, they're gonna need to make a deal at the deadline if they want to make a real run, for sure.
Right? Because it feels like, it kind of feels a little bit, I'm not saying it because it's Canada, but it feels a little bit like Edmonton,
Well,
Like
listen, no, no, does not feel like Edmonton.
not the full
No.
depths of it, but where you watch most of the game and you're like, this team's really good, but they do have a deficiency that we all do realize.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's probably, I don't necessarily know if it, I think I might be label it more like Toronto, where Toronto's always, where it's their D that's always been worse, whereas
Fair.
Edmonton, it's always started in goal. Um, right? Like Montreal kind of has a history of having some pretty good goaltending. Um, so I, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see. I tell you what, in the depths of our Rangers losses a few weeks ago, we were like, oh my God, Alexis Lafreniere is gonna get traded to his hometown to Quebec. He's gonna go play in Montreal with Cole Caulfield and put up like 60 points.
Right.
Like that's like that was like the depths of our Rangers woes.
You're right.
Across the league, I think the Metropolitan is starting to really kind of shape into what more people thought versus where the Atlantic is still kind of in shambles, and you don't really know what's going to happen there. It's going to be interesting to see how long Pittsburgh can continue their ride under
Yeah.
new head coach Dan Muse. And it's funny, the two teams I had picked out to actually dive a little bit more in depth with today were not on the East. They were actually on the West. And do you know which two teams I picked?
Well, let's see here, because I was just looking at how bad the Toronto Maple Leafs were at goaltending. Wow. Giving up 3.82 goals per game. I'm going to look at the Dallas Stars.
Ooh.
That's a guess for me. And I want to say the Anaheim Ducks, because I don't think we've spent enough time on how good they've been this year. But I'm actually going to falter to the aforementioned Edmonton Oilers.
Oh no, you were good. You were good on the Ducks. Ducks for
Oh,
sure.
I was? Yeah, I had a
Yeah,
feeling.
Ducks. So Ducks and Avalanche. So first of all,
I
on
watched them the other
West,
day, and they are a fun team
Yeah.
also.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're awesome. So hold on, real quick though. On the West, you gotta catch a Blackhawks game because Connor Bedard
It's so good.
is lighting it up, and he's awesome, and he's like they did you see the comparison between him and Kane in the first two seasons? And
Yes,
he's
I
got like
did.
more points in like certain, like he has like just about more or the same in every category.
And you know what? I realized last night too, because I was watching the Devils. They played them last night. And by the way, did you see the game winner in overtime? Marks from
No, I read the headline this morning.
It was Martin Brodeur in 2025. It was like the coolest thing ever.
Ooh.
But that's not the point. The point is Gretzky was talking about Bedard at the intermission and why he was talking about why he thinks Bedard is going to be that good is because the guy added weight to his body. He like improved parts of his game that like the common person can't tell, but the great hockey players like, wow, he got way better at this. That's impressive for a guy that can be considered the best in the league.
Listen, the weight and the strength is so important. Like if you can't get knocked off the puck, right, you can have the puck for longer. And when
Yeah.
you have the skills to do something with the puck, that means you have a greater chance of scoring goals.
Yeah,
Right?
no,
It's like
you're right.
very simple. And the league is as much as you can play in the NHL at 5'7" and be extremely fast.
You gotta be
It
strong.
doesn't matter if you can't protect the puck.
Yeah, no. And those guys are ridiculous with their one-hand strength, let alone their two-hand strength. That's the other
Yeah.
side of it. Well,
Yeah,
I
we've
did.
got-
So continue with that because I've been watching the Blackhawks. I don't know how. I don't know if it just keeps showing up on my TV. The ESPN
Well,
app
it's
obviously gives you all the games.
Original
but-
six. Original
Oh,
six.
that makes sense.
Original six is always on, no matter what. Maybe
makes
all right, like the original six are always on. Hey, we're a little nervous eyes towards the Vegas Golden Knights. I think they're going to be fine,
Dude.
but let's not panic. Let's not get too panicky.
Yeah, no, it's funny because when we were at the bachelor party last week, Rob was talking about how he's always been fired up about the Vegas Golden Knights. And right now, I feel like They're just staying afloat. That's the best way I could put it.
They'll be all right. I'm not worried, not worried about Vegas at all. I dove into Colorado, one, because I needed to see the point distribution, and no surprise, Nathan McKinnon, who leads the NHL in points and goals, right? Obviously leads the team. Obviously, Kale McCarr leads the defenseman in points. He's got 23 points. But the person that you've got to like look to, Martin Necas, 10 goals, 10 assists, 20 points. If you remember, he was part of the massive blockbuster trade with Carolina. And, you know, Necas just naturally fit in there. And it's just impressive to see the longevity of that trade really play out on that team. And it's going to be a huge difference maker. And then big shout out to Gabriel Landeskog, who got his first NHL goal at 5-on-5 since returning after 2.5, 3 years of missing NHL play. So pretty cool story out of Colorado. Very impressive. Is Mackenzie Blackwood the guy?
Yeah, that's the
Is going
question,
to be the
man.
question
Yeah.
all season. Or
I
Scott Wedgwood, excuse me, not Blackwood. Blackwood's the backup. Scott Wedgwood, is he the guy, or is this just an out of body experience?
Yeah, well, right now, if you look at the goaltending in the National Hockey League, the team that is number 5 in the league in goals given up is the Vegas Golden Knights at a total of 44 and at a clip of 2.93 per game. So for me, Rock, I'm always going to look there. Like if your team is in the top 15 of goals against per game, no matter the name of your goalie or the type of defense you have, in my opinion, you have a chance long-term in the National Hockey League. Now, I think it was a whole lot different when you and I were playing 15 years ago than it is now. Like that only brings you as far as you're going to be in a 2-2 game because other teams can freaking score. But like, you're seeing it with the Capitals. They got arguably the best defense and goaltending in the league right now, and they're 8-7-1. And it's like, well, why? Well, because Ovechkin's off to a terrible start. They can't score the puck. And it's like, well, the goaltending and the defense can only take you so far. But it's got to start by being elite. And that's what I see at some of these teams. And that's why I saw with the Rangers the whole time. Like, though I love Josh on the Rangers, they got to score goals, but their goaltending is good. I mean, they're top 5 in the league right now. They're giving up like 2.5 goals a game max right now. So I look at that first. And then I'm like, okay, they got something there. And I would argue, Rock, that's the most important part of the NHL team. And then you got to get the goal scoring.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, Colorado's plus 25 on the year.
That's
I mean, plus 25. They are crushing the net.
Like,
they
that's
are just
ridiculous.
Scoring, right? Like the Rangers, on the other hand, like they weren't scoring. They have like a +2 goal differential.
You're right.
Yet they're like tops in the league in like danger scoring chances. They're tops in the league in 5-on-5 defense and shots against. So like, yeah, you start putting it together, you start scoring goals. If you can start scoring goals like the Avalanche and keep your defensive play, like look out. And that's what I'd be worried about with the Caps. Like, because they should start scoring soon.
Yeah.
Sooner rather than later.
Think about the Avalanche and the Caps. They're both number 1 in terms of 1 and 2 in goaltending. The Caps are giving up 2.38. The Avs are giving up 2.4. But Rocky, the Avalanche are scoring 4 goals a game, where the Caps are only scoring 2.88. That's a whole nother goal and 2/3
the best defense is a great offense.
Yeah, I mean that's you're looking at Joe Sakic territory for the Colorado Avalanche or whoever that was that won a title in 2000 whatever against the Devils.
And that's what people right. If you're going to pay attention to the game, right, that's where hockey is a lot like soccer, where puck possession is just as important as tight defense.
Yeah, no, that makes so much sense. What else you got before we go on?
Real quick on the Ducks. I mean, you gotta listen. Watch Cutter Gauthier, right? Great young talent.
Elite name.
Really happy for our guy Jacob Trouba, right? Thought he got a tough exit from New York. Didn't think he deserved it. I think he got crushed. I think he was a scapegoat in a lot of ways. And he's got 4 goals and 7 assists. He's got 11 points. He leads their team in plus minus, which is just even better for him. And he looks to be playing like the Jacob Trouba that everyone knows and loves, that we saw towards the end of his time in Winnipeg and his first couple seasons with the Rangers. So happy for Trouba.
You know, it's funny how that is what happens with fanship. You're like, I'm kind of annoyed this guy isn't here, but
Yeah.
I really do. You realize, did I like this player or not? I guess I must have.
I definitely liked him. And to everyone who says the Rangers made a mistake with Kreider, okay, he's got 9 goals, 3 assists, and 12 points. 7 of those points,
Power play.
5 of those 9 goals, power play.
Exactly. I mean, that's all he
So-
does, which is fine, but that's all he does.
That is fine.
Yeah,
That
it's
is fine. But you cannot play top 6 5-on-5 when the team you're on sucks
At
5-on-5.
Yeah, you know what I think about Chris Kreider as? He's a nickel cornerback. He's going to play third down and only nickel defense. And
And
I
that's
never.
okay.
That's fine.
But you can't take up minutes in
Yes.
the part of the game that you are not producing in.
That's exactly right.
Which when you look at the team is the one spot that everyone said you sucked in. So happy. Listen, by the way, happy for Kreider.
Yeah.
Like great memories with the Rangers. I would never
Yeah.
say I hated Kreider ever.
Yeah.
Right. But from a GM looking standpoint, which by the way, GMs are as important as head coaches, as we continue to see Miami, Dallas Mavericks, New York Giants, like which is worse, GM or head coach? They're just as important, right? Like that's the stuff you got to think about.
We are talking to resident hockey expert Rocky Romanella here on his weekly spot. We call it Hockey with Rocky, but you can call it whatever the hell you want. It was Rocky's Roundup for a while. Yeehaw as well. Let's stick to that because you just mentioned some of the firings that have gone on in all the sports. We had the Dallas Mavericks GM fired. We had the Miami Dolphins GM fired. Those were 2 examples where the head coach stayed. Then you flip it to college football. We're firing head coaches all over the place. You flip it to the New York Football Giants. They fire their head coach. They keep their GM. Is it organization based, Rocky? Did you think the Giants made the right decision in keeping the GM? You think the Dolphins were weird in firing the GM and keeping the coach? Like, what are you thinking right now with all of this change?
Listen, you can't really. I don't think. Listen, if I work at ESPN, if I work at the NFL Network, I'm getting paid to talk about it. But at the end of the day, no one actually knows because it does come down to the ownership. It is the organization and how the organizations run. Couple of examples. The New York Football Jets constantly suck. Constantly. That is the organization. Doesn't matter who the GM is, doesn't matter who the coach is, doesn't matter who the players on the field are. Why can't they be better than they have been? Right? Like you could argue with the Giants, it's organization based over the last 15 years, right? Because they have not figured it out with 4 different regimes. So what are they doing inside the organization to not allow these people to succeed? In Miami, it's probably the organization.
Oh, yeah.
It's always been the
I
organization,
could have guessed that one for you.
right? In Dallas, it's in the Cowboys, not the Mavericks, Cowboys. It's the organization. It is Jerry Jones. It will always be Jerry Jones until he gives up the reins on being the general manager, right? Now, when you look at the New England Patriots, it's ownership. How is it that Drake May went from being, I don't know if this guy's good, to top rookie second year quarterback in the league? Why? You hired the right coach. You have a great system. You've always been able to win with mediocre wide receivers.
Yeah.
You didn't win when you had Randy Moss. Like organizational, like they're doing well. I don't know. I think it's on the organization. There are moments where Mike Tomlin, right? That organization's a great organization, but Mike Tomlin has delivered for the organization.
Yeah. And I
And
love the
everyone
people
think-
that
Oh, go ahead.
I said I love the people that hammer Mike Tomlin like you wouldn't take a
You-
guy that can take you to the
you-
playoffs every year.
You're hammering Mike Tomlin about not winning in the playoffs.
Right.
Yet the dude gets to the playoffs with half a quarterback every year.
And any talent that's not actually that good or
Every
older than
year.
it is.
He's that in that case, the GM needs to be better.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely right. And I think in the example of the Giants, I think they made absolutely the right decision. Like,
They had
no
to,
matter
they
what,
had to make the
had
players are better.
had to. I at first I was like, what are we doing here? Why would you not bring why would you not fire the GM at the same time? Like, this is kind of crazy. And then you kind of start to like dissect it. And I'm not saying that Joe Shane's a good GM. That's not what I'm saying here. But what I am saying is what you just said, which is if you compare 2024 to 2025 with a lot of these teams, they believe they should be better. And that to me is a direct representation. So if you believe your roster talent got better, whoever your GM is, and in this case for the Giants, it's Joe Shane, you do keep him. You do think it's a good move. Hey, we feel like we like the now. If you don't like the talent on your roster, you're probably Nico Harrison because you like Jason Kidd as your head coach, but you don't like what he's giving Jason Kidd to coach.
Like, listen, you can't put a finger on it, right? When you lose 4 games the way you lose, right?
10 or more points they had a lead by, Rocky, by
Okay.
the way. That was like the first time in a long time that's happened.
So let's just look at the losses. Let's say you flip the schedule. The Giants you would be celebrating these guys for how good they were, right? Like the Giants defense, they came into the year. There's not an analyst who didn't think that they could have been the best defense in the league, best defense since '07,
Yeah.
right? There's not a soul in the NFL who doesn't know that Jackson Dart is the real deal.
Correct.
Doesn't know. And by the way, there's not a running quarterback in the league today that wasn't told to stop taking hits in their first season. So stop telling me that that's someone else's fault. That is purely on the athlete making a name for himself.
He's got to realize that. Really? Did Lamar Jackson realize it? No, he got knocked out of a game. Then he realized it.
No, exactly. And then he won a Super Bowl. So
no, he didn't.
Or he hasn't won one yet. But anyways,
2 MVPs.
Okay, so let's look at Dable. Okay. You are winning games and then you lose games. In both instances, you can look at the defense and be like, hey, defense, you just went 4 quarters of shutout football and then you let Denver score 26 points in 10 minutes.
Right.
Hey, defense, you just dominated the Bears. And then next thing you know, you can't stop them. But you know what? At the same time in those games, the offense had an opportunity to ice the game and they went 3 and out, or they got into the red zone and they kicked a field goal. And so when you can't put your finger on what's worse, the offense's inability to ice the game or the defense's ability to stop it in critical situation, you can only look to the head coach whose game plan it is to win the game.
Yeah, and by the way, it's your job to tell that dude you don't like that play call. So you give him ownership in the Denver game, he blows it. The next game you get into that scenario, it's like, I'm not letting you blow this. Like, this is what you're going to do in this scenario. And I think people are forgetting that. Like, do I think the defensive coordinator is good? No. Do I think he might also need to lose his job?
Yes.
Probably.
Absolutely.
But to your point, it's almost like, we got to go with the head honcho first because maybe, just maybe, it actually is the head honcho's fault. Maybe the defensive coordinator was satisfying what Daboll wanted and not actually doing what he wanted to do. I don't really believe that, but you can't not leave that on the table, Rocky. That could be a possibility.
And like, listen, the mismanagement of the place kickers over the last 2 years.
And then you get the guy in, he kicks all the field goals. So why did we wait?
You don't know when it's a good time to go for 2. You don't know when it's a good time to kick a field goal. You can't score when you go for 2, right? Like, there's just too much. And by the way, organizationally, if I fire Brian Bowen first, that's 2 D coordinators under Dable, 1 midseason, one of which is really good. And if you think Wink Martindale wouldn't be blitzing the crap out of every defense with the talent he had today versus what he had, you're crazy. So, like, dude, we should have never had to get rid of Wink. Now you're going to tell me it's Bowen's fault. Dude, this is your staff.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? And if I fire Bowen today and we lose next week, I got to fire Dable after that. And now it's just a mess.
What a mess. And then you really have no control the rest of the year. And they actually think, I've been reading, that Kafka, I don't know how deep this is, but they really like him inside of that building as a leader.
I don't know how Spagnuolo, Antonio Pierce are not on the docket, though.
Well, I think that with Spagnuolo, I'm wondering, and I know nothing. I have zero sources on this. This is just like a weird feeling. I wonder if he doesn't want it again. Like, I
I don't
wonder
need
if
him to be
he
that. Yeah.
genuinely enjoys just being the defensive coordinator on a great Chiefs team. I know that I had my run with the Giants and we won a Super Bowl, but my run as a head coach was atrocious.
Sucked.
And that doesn't define you. We've seen it happen a second time better. Pete Carroll, great example. Now, the third time, a joke, but we're not going to do that.
Yeah,
So
he should not be coaching at 80
right.
years old.
Like, do you that's purely a opinion-based thought, Rocky, but I feel like Spagnuolo should have been up for every job the last 5 years, and he hasn't been.
No, agreed. And truthfully, I would rather him come back as the D court. Like, I'd like to see, like, if AP was the head coach and like Spags was like, if you got him two former head coaches that didn't work out and like were the coordinators and just let AP like focus on culture.
Yeah, by the way, though, Antonio Pierce clearly wasn't that bad of a head coach in Las Vegas. If you're watching what's going on there right now, clearly he was not the problem. Clearly.
No, and I'd even bring him in as the D coordinator. Like,
Right,
you need
something.
like, so
You know who the guy I
just,
go
I don't
after?
want
Because-
I don't want Belichick. I don't want someone old.
Now,
I
don't lie.
want
Don't lie to me, though. For 12 minutes, it would be kind of a fun story to talk about if Belichick did return to the New York Giants. That would be fun.
4 years ago, I wanted Belichick.
Yeah, way cooler. You know who I want for you? Kelvin Shepard.
I don't even know who that is.
That's the defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions right now.
Okay, I like that.
That's who I want because now Aaron Glenn hasn't necessarily worked out for the Jets yet per se, though it's trending in a better direction. Ben Johnson has worked out for Chicago, and I want whatever's up in that water over there because I feel like
Dude, I love Detroit.
What you got going on with Dan Campbell in that locker room, like I just feel like they broke the curse of Hard Knocks. They actually made the playoffs and they were on Hard Knocks. Like that's cool.
But look at Dan Campbell, like tight ends coach, head coach.
Yeah,
that's why I want AP.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
He's driving the style of play.
Well, that's the other problem with what went on last year. And we have like 2 minutes because I actually have to go profess my class in an hour. So we have to get off this show.
Let's go,
but
professor.
The one thing that what frustrates me actually the most, and I'm not even a Giants fan, is the offseason because you look back, and I know you're not supposed to play Monday morning quarterback like that, but Rocky, Mike Vrabel could be in your building right now as your head coach. Like Ben Johnson could be in your building as your head coach. Right now. There were so many good candidates that people really thought could be, and they're proving that they are pretty good head coaches. Yeah. I think that's
Vrabel's money.
That's what bothers me the most about this decision. You're the New York Football Giants. People want to be your head coach. So anytime you don't have the resemblance of somebody that's legitimate, you should fire them. Not that you want to fire them every year, but people want to work there, man. Like this is one of the best franchises in the nation. Like in all of professional sports, the Giants are revered very high, you know? So I think that's what's bothering me a little bit about it. It's like, seriously, you needed these 10 games, Shane and Mara. Like you knew this. We all knew this. You knew. And now you might not have what you should have gotten. Imagine some of these other guys, Rocky, coaching this talent.
Well, how about you knew and then you didn't let him start Jackson Dart?
And then you didn't let him, and then you didn't let Jameis Winston be the backup. Did you? What were we doing?
Which is why you're also saying, hey, that was a good firing. Because the Kafka's not afraid to start Jameis this week when Dart's out with a concussion. Which, by the way, I don't think Dart should play for another. I don't know if Dart should play for the rest of the season.
Agreed. I think you give it 3 games. If somehow Jameis brings the team to 5-7, and in the NFL today's day and age, that means you're in a playoff battle. Maybe there's a different conversation.
Dude, you could beat the Packers.
Yep.
You could steal. I mean, I don't know if you're going to steal one from the Lions. You probably have a better chance of stealing one from the Patriots than you do the Lions.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And you're at home.
But you can beat the Commanders.
You beat the Commanders. You beat the Vikings. That's on the schedule too. There are 3 of their next 5 games are winnable games.
Absolutely.
I don't think they're making the playoffs, obviously. But the real question becomes, what does it look like the last 7 weeks? Is Kafka the legitimate option? And I think this is arguably the most important, are the people making these decisions the right people? Because in three years, we're having the same conversation if Joe Shane is not the right person.
If Kafka is not the person, though, you've got to retain him as the OC, I think.
I agree, because I think he's done a fantastic job, and Jackson
He's
Dart likes him.
I didn't love him at the beginning of his career, but that was with Daniel Jones. And by the way, now as I'm looking at the offense, like, was that not his fault?
Yeah, and let's see if he makes Jameis really, really good. All right, Rocky, we got to run here. Last thoughts before the show ends.
NHL Global Series in Sweden, 2 games this weekend. Preds versus Penguins. I didn't get a chance to tell you, but Denny Hamlin, tragic loss. There's a whole
Tragic.
article on NASCAR.com on tragic losses in the history of sports. You got Jean Vandevelde on here. You've got the Bills wide right on here.
That's awesome.
You've got so many good ones. But I don't know why you have to take 4 tires.
Stupid, man.
I don't understand. I don't just stay on the track, win your 3 laps, you're in the lead. A great example, and even in an individual sports where overcoaching and over analytics is ruining the ability to win games. That's all I got for you today.
I couldn't agree more. So disturbing, Denny Hamlin. Rocky Romanella, everybody. Fantastic. Great to have you
It's like
back.
I'm on the pitch right here. Let me clap to the fans.
Let's hope that the Rangers continue to score goals and have an elite goals against average. We'll talk to you next week, Rocky. Have a great day. I'm Andrew Romanella. I'm back tomorrow morning. Crush your Thursday. Have an electric one. Peace.
Thank you for listening.